You know that feeling, right? You make one small, totally innocent purchase, maybe a new pillow for your couch. And then all of a sudden, you're looking around and thinking, you know what? This entire living room needs an overhaul. Well, believe it or not, that feeling has a name, and it comes from a really fascinating story about a philosopher, an empress, and a single scarlet robe. So listen to this. No more coordination, no more unity, no more beauty. Kind of dramatic, huh? What could possibly have caused so much despair for a famous 18th century philosopher? What could throw his whole world into such disarray? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple, and it's something I guarantee you've experienced yourself. To get to the bottom of this, we've got to meet the man himself, Denis Diderot. Now, Diderot was a brilliant writer, one of the masterminds behind the world's first great encyclopedias. But for most of his life, he was broke. That is, until his life completely changed, almost overnight. Okay, so picture this. It's 1765. Diderot's daughter is getting married, and he has a huge problem. He can't afford to pay for it. But word of his money troubles reaches a very, very powerful fan, Catherine the Great, the Empress of Russia. Turns out she loved his work and made him an incredible offer. She'd buy his entire personal library for £1,000. Now, to put that in perspective, that's like getting a check for over $150,000 today. Just like that, Diderot went from poor to pretty well off. So, what's one of the first things he does with this newfound wealth? He buys himself a beautiful, elegant scarlet robe. You know, a little luxury, a symbol of his new status. And this one purchase, this was the trigger for everything that was about to go wrong. See, that gorgeous new robe was so beautiful that it instantly made everything else he owned look old and shabby by comparison. It was like parking a brand new Ferrari in a rickety old garage. It just didn't fit. And that feeling, that mismatch, it sparked this crazy urge to upgrade everything. His old rug got replaced with a fancy one from Damascus, he started buying expensive sculptures, he put a new mirror over the mantel, and his simple straw chair, yeah, that got tossed out for a luxurious leather one. It was like a row of dominoes. One purchase just kept knocking over the next. And here's the thing. Diderot's little spending spree wasn't just some personal quirk. Nope. It was a perfect example of a universal human tendency. This pattern is so common, it actually has a name. And of course, it's named after him, the Diderot effect. So, at its core, the Diderot effect is this. Getting one new thing often creates a spiral of consumption that leads to buying even more things. It's because we crave harmony. We want our stuff to, go together. So when something new and shiny enters our life, we feel this powerful pull to upgrade everything around it to match. And I'm telling you, once you know what to look for, you see this effect everywhere. You buy a new dress, and what's the first thing you think? Oh, I need new shoes and earrings to go with this. You get a brand new couch, and suddenly your old coffee table and curtains just look sad. It's a chain reaction of buying, and it happens all the time. But this is where it gets really interesting. This effect is about so much more than just shopping. It actually reveals a fundamental truth about how all of our behaviors are linked together. It's a chain reaction that applies to pretty much everything we do. I mean, just think about this simple little sequence. You go to the bathroom, that leads to washing your hands. Washing your hands leads to drying them. And as you do, you notice the towel is dirty. That reminds you that you need to do laundry, which makes you realize you're out of detergent, so you add it to the shopping list. See? One simple action triggers the next, and the next, and the next. And that is the core insight here. No behavior ever happens in a vacuum. Every single action we take becomes a cue, a trigger that prompts the next behavior in the chain. Our lives are basically just a whole series of these interconnected habits. So, this brings us to a really powerful idea. If our brains are already wired to create these little behavioral domino effects, what if we could actually design them on purpose? What if we could use this tendency not to buy more stuff, but to build better habits? Well, it turns out we can. The strategy is called habit stacking. And really, you can just think of it as using the Diderot effect for good, a way to create a positive spiral of beneficial habits. This method, which comes from Stanford behavior scientist B.J. Fogg, is so powerful because it's just so simple. Instead of trying to create a new habit out of thin air, you just link it to something you already do every single day without thinking. You literally stack your new desired behavior right on top of an existing one. And here it is, the simple, genius formula to make it all happen. After my current habit, I will do my new habit. That's it. This one sentence creates this unbreakable bond between something you already do on autopilot and the new thing you want to start doing consistently. Okay, so let's move from theory to practice. How does this actually look in your real everyday life? Look how flexible this is. Maybe you want to start meditating. Okay, stack it. After I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. Want to make exercise a no-brainer? After I take off my work shoes, I will immediately change into my workout clothes. It even works for things like gratitude and relationships. After I sit down to dinner, I will say one thing I'm grateful for today. Or, after I get into bed at night, I will give my partner a kiss. The magic of this whole thing is that you're using the momentum you already have. You're not starting from scratch. You're just tying the behavior you want to a trigger that already exists, making it obvious, easy, and almost impossible to forget. Diderot's Scarlet Robe teaches us a huge lesson. One choice can set off a really powerful chain reaction. Now, you can let that chain reaction happen by accident, or you can design it on purpose. So, the question for you is, what positive chain reaction are you going to start today? What's the first habit you'll stack?